Reading with your kids.
Hey, so great to see you. Come on in. Hi, my name is Jedley, and this is the Reading with Your Kids podcast, a podcast dedicated to inspiring kids and families to spend more time reading together, to get into the habit of reading together. It is so beneficial. There are so many benefits when we sit and we read with our kids. Kids learn how to read. They develop their vocabulary. They develop empathy. And most of all, they develop a wonderful relationship with you. We have a wonderful guest on today. Her name is Elizabeth Dufek, and she is the author of The Traveling Dress. Before Elizabeth comes in, we want to take a minute to tell you about a series of books you will absolutely want to add to your family library this holiday season. The Izzy Elves by Dorothea Jensen. That's right. Santa's 8 Izzy Elves are very tech savvy. They help each other solve problems and celebrate triumphs, and they do it all in rhyme. Start a new family read-aloud Christmas tradition with Dorothea Jensen's Tizzy, the Christmas Shelf Elf, Lizzie, the Worrywart Elf, Tizzy, the Stowaway Elf, and Frizzy, the SAD Elf. These illustrated award-winning modern Christmas stories for kids age 5 and up are available as paperbacks, ebooks, and audiobooks at Amazon or can be ordered at any bookstore. Find out more by visiting DorotheaJensen.com. Joining us on the line right now from beautiful Wisconsin, she is the author of a wonderful book called The Traveling Dress. Please welcome to the show, Elizabeth Dufek. Elizabeth, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm very excited to be here, so thank you for having me.
I'm excited that you're here. I'm so happy that you're a patient, understanding woman. I just messed up the first beginning of this show. You guys didn't hear that, but we're back and we're here. And Elizabeth, please tell us a little bit about The Traveling Dress.
The Traveling Dress has kind of an interesting story. I have 3 girls, a 12-year-old, a 10-year-old, and one that just turned 3 a couple days ago. And my 3-year-old was doing Instagram marketing, I guess you could call it, for some small shops. Small shops on Instagram are shops that want to make it in the world. They want to be in Nordstrom or any other of the big stores, but they're just starting and they need to get known. So how it works is they send us pieces, and we take a picture and post them online. So having that chance led me to a shop called Little Minis, and Little Minis' mom, the owner, decided she was going to send a dress around to 50 girls for 1 week each, so each girl could have the opportunity to look beautiful in that dress for a special day.
Wow, cool.
It's a cool story.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do something great for her just as a thank you because she took so much time to create this, and I thought it was really powerful. I didn't know how to thank her other than to put together a book of pictures, but then I thought she gets pictures from moms in her dresses every day. Let's do something different. Mm-hmm. So one night I sat down on the computer and started typing in my Gmail because I had just bought a MacBook and didn't have Word set up. So I typed in my Gmail. I don't know what other author has this kind of story that their first book was in Gmail. So I typed the book in Gmail, and right when I got to the end, I poured orange juice all over the computer and fritzed it. So I pretty much was in tears, ran upstairs, told my husband. He started laughing, saying it's the most expensive orange juice ever, which it is. And he pulled it up because it was in Gmail. He could pull it up on his computer, and there my story was.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Well, first off, hats off. What a wonderful husband for not going ballistic at the most expensive orange juice in the world.
He got a little bit frustrated when we had to go. It was the day before Thanksgiving, and we went to the Black Friday sale to get the new computer. Uh-huh. And there he was not as understanding and happy. But I can accept it. Well, so that's how the story came out. The story turned out to be fictional, but there is a traveling dress, and the girls that were part of the traveling dress that wanted to be in the book are in the book. And the rest is illustrated. The illustrations tell a story, and my words tell a story. And some of the things that I want to talk to you about are those stories. One of them is bravery. Mm-hmm. So I'd like to do a little tangent on that. And then the second thing is different types of families. The traveling dress travels when a girl from a children's shelter gets sent home to her forever home. So I think that that's a big topic that we don't discuss real easily. I know when I was a Brownies leader, I had mentioned that my daughter's father was coming to pick her up. Mm-hmm. And a little girl said, well, what do you mean? And she had never heard of blended families. She has never heard of, a mom and a father living in two separate homes. Mm-hmm. And so we had this big discussion about all different families. Mm-hmm. And I think that my book opens up that opportunity within schools, within counselors' offices, and even at home for parents, whatever the type of family it is, to have this discussion and say, there's 6 types of families, and let's talk about them all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so really, really important. And I bet you, if it doesn't exist now, there's going to be a lot more than 6 types of families. But anyways, I joke, and some people might be mad out there thinking, oh, the traditional family is the way to go, and acknowledging anything else is wrong. And I don't buy that. I mean, the reality is, no matter what you believe is the best way, the reality is that kids are living in very different types of families these days. And every single kid, no matter what family they are living in, they have nothing to do with that. They're completely powerless. And so those kids deserve our respect, no matter what. And that is the message, the number one message that we should be talking to our kids about anytime this topic comes up, is remind our kids that those children deserve our respect, our compassion, and can be our friend. I
100% agree. The children don't make the decision what type of family they have. Mm-hmm. And they shouldn't have to have any other consequence other than being loved.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And, we have a traditional family, a mom and a dad and 2 kids. And we got a little beagle, so I guess 2.5 kids. But we also have hosted international kids in our home. And anytime those kids, it got annoying. My family used to make fun of me. But anytime we would bring one of these new international kids home from the airport, we would stop in front of the house, and I would point to the roof, and I say, do you see the hotel sign up on top of the roof? And the kids would go, no. And I go, good, because this isn't a hotel. This is our home, and we'll welcome you into our home. We'll welcome you in to be part of our family. And, I mean, as we were speaking, I just got a message from Guangzhou in China from one of those kids who are back home with their family, but she is going to be part of our family forever.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. And we have a foster niece in our family that I was skating with today, and it's awesome. And I don't want to monopolize this. I want to let you get back to what you want to talk about. But I had a moment in my performing educational magic shows up in most northern Maine, and I have a little routine where I hand out little green beads, and I ask the kids as they're holding it to think about something they're thankful for. And this one young man stood up and he said, Jedley, you don't know me, but I'm a foster kid, and yesterday 2 men adopted me, and for the first time in my life I have a forever family, and I'm so happy and I'm so grateful. And that was and the audience just exploded into this big, huge round of applause for this guy who was new to the school because he was with that family. And it was just a beautiful thing. And I don't care what your politics are, your religion, if that didn't move you and bring a smile to your face, you don't have a pulse.
I stand right there with you. It's a beautiful thing to be able to be part of any family. Mm-hmm. No matter how they're set up. And that's kind of what my book's there, to have that open discussion. It doesn't go into details of it. Mm-hmm. It just uses the term forever home mm-hmm. and hints at it. But I wanted to leave that open. If a family's comfortable to discuss it, they should have that opportunity. And part of the reason I have it in my book is my middle child is not biologically mine. Mm-hmm. And we actually sent her at school. They had something called banana splits. And so she went to school, and banana splits is for different types of families, mm-hmm. just to talk about it. And so she went and came home from it, and I said, "Did you understand why you were at Banana Splits?" And she said, "No, Mom, I didn't." And I said, "Well, what did you see?" And she said, "Well, there was, different kinds of families. Like some people lived with their mom, some lived with their dad. There was one that lived with 2 moms." And she said, "And I didn't get it because I live with my mom and dad." And I said, "Okay." And I said, "Well, why do you think maybe you went?" And she said, "Well, I get that you're not my biological mom." And she said, "But I don't need to be there. You're my mom."
There you go.
And right there was my term. I'm her forever mom.
Mm-hmm.
She's my forever daughter.
Mm-hmm.
She's in her forever home.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was important to include.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so beautiful. And I love that connection with foster kids going to a forever home, because there's so many foster kids out there. And we're going to have later this year, we're going to have Dr. John DeGarmo come on, who is a leading expert in foster families. And he has, 25, 26 foster kids that have been through his home. And he has adopted a whole bunch of them. And he's a great, great guy. But one of the things he pointed out is that, and I hope families will talk about this with your book, is that maybe we're not right to be a foster family, but there's no reason why you can't support a foster family.
Yes.
I was mentioning my foster niece today. We go out skating maybe once a week, and it's beautiful, and I love it. And I'm not doing anybody, I'm doing me a favor.
She's your niece.
She's my niece. Absolutely. 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 Well, one of the things you also wanted to talk about was bravery. And I think it was incredibly brave for you to kind of bring that topic up. And I love the respectful way you did that, so that a family could elaborate and go either way with it. But what kind of things about bravery did you want to touch on?
Well, what I was mentioning earlier when I wrote you was that a lot of magazines right now are talking about bravery, and there are a couple books coming out about bravery and how to be a brave woman. And they mention people like Amelia Earhart, Anne Franklin, Frida, Rosa Parks. Mm-hmm. And yes, those women are brave, and they should be applauded, and it's beautiful that we talk about them. But I think that there is someone that all these people are missing, and that is a mom. Mm-hmm. I think that every mom, in choosing to become a mom, is brave. I mean, to have to say, I am giving my life to someone, and I am going to take care of that person, and I am going to love that person, and my decisions are all going to be made for that person, is brave. So I just wanted to mention that. And then I could take bravery a next step. It was pretty brave for me to write a book. Mm-hmm. We can talk about that, overcoming fears and doing something, going for it, and living like that. But first and foremost, I wanted to say that being a mom or a parent is brave, and I'd love to applaud all the parents out there.
Well, you're certainly right. I absolutely agree, and it is true. There are a lot of women and men who choose to stay home and raise the kids. Sometimes people look down. Well, a lot of times people look down on them, and they don't understand the decision. And it is a brave decision, and it's a wonderful decision, because it's a beautiful gift to your kids.
Correct.
I know we were very fortunate. My mom was alive when our kids were young, and my job was flexible enough, so I was home a lot of the time. But when I had to travel, when I was performing, my mom would come in. So my kids never went to a daycare. Not that there's anything wrong with going to a daycare, but my kids grew up in the home, and they spent their time in the home. And so they learned from us, and they we saw their first steps, and we heard their first words. Although my daughter will tell me, I wasn't there when she took her first steps. It was with my mom. I'm sorry. But she took those first steps with family.
Yes.
And that's a beautiful thing.
Tough decisions.
What was it? What happened in your life, or what do you see happening that made you want to say that and acknowledge parents? What is it that you're seeing that you're feeling that we need to acknowledge that?
There's social media, I guess, is the main reason that I say this. when I wrote my book and a few moms heard that there was children in the back of the book, they immediately started attacking. And it was that's not right of you to use children in your book. Well, I didn't use them. I asked them if they wanted to be a part of it. I asked their parents to sign a release if they wanted to be part of it. And I asked them if they wanted to be part of it because it was telling a beautiful story and they want to support it. So there was nothing wrong, but social media allowed people to say things that I don't think were necessary and they weren't right. And I think social media allows that a lot of times. And when you write a book, you put yourself out there for people to judge. As soon as my book goes from pre-sale to, sale and it releases and everyone gets their copies, they have every right to review my book. That's me taking that chance. That's brave. So I think that social media made me think about that. And then, just like I said, there was a magazine that I saw on Instagram and it was talking about numerous women. And I was thinking, well, there's a lot of other people that are brave that we're missing. And so I wrote him a letter and I said, I'd like you to just put moms on there because I want kids to be proud of their parents. And that's really important. And so that kind of was the second thing that came with it. And
yeah. Well, I'm really sorry I had that experience on social media. I can't, that doesn't make sense to me that people complain that you had pictures of kids in the dress in your book. That baffles my mind.
I think though whenever people take a chance to do something that not everyone can do, because we all have our skills, there's gonna be someone that is either jealous or judgmentally angry about it for whatever reason. I think that social media allows that opportunity where you don't have to really think because you can hide behind the screen. So you speak a lot of times without thinking about your actions, and then it's out there and it's said and you can't take it back. You can't erase it. And so you just, you keep going without the thought and there it has it.
Yeah, and I, just to take a minute, since it came up, parents, this is a really important message for you to teach your kids.
Yes.
Because, and I was lucky. There was an incident that happened, a great teaching moment that happened with my kids around my website. So they were able to see that a website that was created for me years in the past by a company that has since gone out of business. I had no control over it, and it was taken down, but it was still floating out there in the cyber ether. And it was just a great demonstration to my kids that anything you put out there online is out there forever.
Forever.
And just so think about that. Think about what it reflects on you. Think about, do you really want to say those words to someone else? Because cyberbullying is such a problem, whether we're talking about middle school kids or adults. It's really sad. I don't mean to laugh because it is such a terrible problem, but it's important. I'm glad you brought it up because it's important to remind parents that this is a message we need to give our kids over and over and over. And I think if you're reading The Traveling Dress and you know this story, that would be great as you're looking at the pictures in the back, just sitting down and talking with your kids. Aren't they beautiful pictures? What do you think about that? Do you know that some people told the author and blah, 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 and, did this bullying? And it would be a great way to get into the topic. And you're never too young to talk to kids about social media because they're into it at third grade. It's sad, but it's absolutely true.
You're exactly right. Third grade. Some schools are giving kids emails. So it is an important thing to talk about. And I love that you brought that into my book at the end. Yes, parents should talk about that. And so it's another door that I hope to open.
Yep.
And I think something cool is that my daughter had overheard some of the comments as I was discussing them with my husband. And I said, you know what you can do when someone puts you down, you can either take the choice to lie there and let them kick, or you respectfully say, that's not okay, that's not true, and you get up and you act stronger.
Absolutely. Well, I love this. Maybe it's the old man in me, but I never would have thought, but when we were starting a discussion about the traveling dress, that we'd be talking about bravery. But it's true, and that's my bad, because people are wearing dresses, frilly, pretty, or just a big burly kilt. Anybody can be brave, and we've been talking about lots of brave people and how to be brave and how to stand up for ourselves and how to stand up when people are mean to us. And this is just a perfect example of something I've been talking about, and the reason I created the podcast is reading with our kids. It gives us an opportunity to start a conversation about everything that can last a lifetime.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank goodness for brave authors like you who go out there. So this is your first published book?
This is my first book, and it for sure is not my last. About 3 days ago, I was driving down the street and pulled over, grabbed my phone because another idea came to my head, and I said, this is another lesson I want to talk about. And so I hit voice record because otherwise I was going to be late to get to school. So I hit voice record and talked as I drove. And then last night I was laying in bed and my husband had the speakers on too loud, so I wasn't falling asleep. And so I was just laying there and I'm like, the movie's almost over. I'll just sit here and think. And a third story came up. So I was like, I've got a lot of writing to do.
Excellent.
Because she's got more stories to tell. It's going to be the same character. And I think I might stick with the traveling idea. But it's going to be different things traveling with different stories and different lessons, and I'm going to keep doing it. The writer was always there in me, and all of a sudden it opened up, and here I go.
There you go. Well, I know people are going to want to talk to you. They're going to want to connect with you on the internet, on social media, and I have a feeling I don't know any bullies that listen to the show. Maybe they're out there. I don't know. But where can folks connect with you online?
The easiest way to find me is through Instagram. So if you go to P.S.I_love_you_2, TOO, that is the Instagram site where you can find me. You can also find my daughter, and we're there promoting small shops. That whole support local thing we are pretty big about. And you will also see us doing some marketing influencer acts for companies like Kraft or Jimmy John's. We pop in and help them out too. So you can find us there. Otherwise, if you want to email me, you can find me at P.S.Love, again, the letter U, and then TOO @gmail.com. And I'm happy to answer any questions there and get any feedback.
Excellent. Well, you heard the address. It just clicked in my head. P.S. I love you with punctuation points in there. I really am old. My wife is right. I need to get a neurological test or something.
Her name is Piper Sloan, so that's how we got the P.S.
Okay. Well, excellent. Well, we're really excited. The book is called The Traveling Dress. Our guest tonight has been Elizabeth Dufek, and I have a feeling this is not going to be our only conversation. Elizabeth, thank you so much for being part of the show.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Please be sure to join us for the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast. Our guest will be Mark Tatulli. Mark Tatulli is an amazing illustrator and cartoonist, and he is going to be here talking to us about his work, about cartoons, about comics, and how reading comics are reading, and it's really valuable reading, and it's a great way to inspire those reluctant readers to pick up a book and get interested in reading, to develop a love of reading and learning. Hey, are you the author of a great children's book? Are you finding it difficult to let the world know about your book, to help your book stand out from the thousands and thousands of other children's books that are out there? Well, why don't you consider submitting your book to our Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read program? We've assembled a panel of evaluators. They're teachers, they're parents, they're kids. And if they believe that your book is worthy of 4 or 5 out of 5 stars, then your book becomes a certified great read. And there are all sorts of benefits and all sorts of great tools that you will receive that will help your book stand out not only this holiday season, but throughout the year to help folks know just how great your book is. Check it out at our website, readingwithyourkids.com. Hey, before we go, we want to give a special thanks to our sponsor today, Dorothea Jensen. Check out her 8 Izzy Elves. Her 8 Izzy Elves, Santa's 8 Izzy Elves books. They're available on Amazon, and also find out more about the books and about Dorothea at her website, dorotheajensen.com. Hey, we also want to thank Elizabeth Dufek for joining us today, and of course, we want to thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today, and as always, thank you so very, very much for taking the time to make the world a better place by reading with your kids. I'll be looking for you in the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast.